Who's fourth place in the East and only a game and a half back of the Cleveland Cavaliers? That's right, the Miami Heat, the next subject of our NBA Math Trade Deadline Primer. After having one of the best records during the second half of the season last year, Miami has shaken off a slow start and climbed back into the race in the Eastern Conference. Eric Spoelstra and company always get a great deal of internal growth at this time of season, and it's shown over their last few campaigns. There are legitimate questions, though, about a team with Goran Dragic and Hassan Whiteside as its two superstars making a deep postseason run. Aside from making a franchise-altering trade to deal one of them away, the Heat are essentially out of options to add quality players. While Miami is firmly underneath the luxury tax threshold this season, they have a lot of money coming onto their books in future years. The team already has nearly $120 million in salary on the books for each of the next 2 seasons. Most of that comes from the structure of the deal with Tyler Johnson. Johnson was signed to an offer sheet by the Brooklyn Nets a couple summers ago, and Miami matched it. Now Johnson has one of the least tradable contracts in the NBA, as he is due about $40 million over the next 2 seasons. Johnson is a quality NBA rotation player, but his contract is hamstringing just how much flexibility the Heat have to add another quality player. You can also thank the trade that they made to acquire Goran Dragic for sapping them of their first-round picks as assets. League rules dictate that the Heat can't trade a first-round pick until 2023 at the earliest, and they've already given up all of their second-rounders. That means that if the team is going to improve over the long run, they need big jumps of improvement from some of their young players internally. Josh Richardson has made some positive strides in that direction already this season. He's a long and athletic do-it-all swingman, and the contract extension the Heat signed him to prior to the season is already looking like a steal. The Heat also would like to get something more out of Justice Winslow, a multi-positional defender and player that is better with the ball in his hands. Winslow might be one of the few sneaky trade targets this deadline for some team that is looking for a younger and more athletic wing. We should also include rookie center Bam Adebayo in this list of players that need to improve. While Bam's long-term path to minutes is somewhat blocked by the presence of Hassan Whiteside, if he can prove that he can play alongside the Heat big man, they could have a formidable frontcourt duo for years to come. While the Heat project to be a team that will go over the luxury tax next season, there is something that they can do to add to their personnel this year and help them compete. Miami was gifted a $5.5 million disabled player exception after losing Dion Waiters for the season. That allows the Heat to sign one player or trade for a player on an expiring contract for up to $5.5 million to the remainder of the season. The Heat could try to use the exception to trade for a player like Dallas Mavericks guard Devin Harris. Or, the more likely path is for the Heat to save it for the buyout period and go after one of the many players that could be bought out of their contracts, like Vince Carter of the Sacramento Kings or Joe Johnson of the Utah Jazz.